Journalism advantage, answer to the AI NDCA, and then answer to the inflation disadvantage. Does anyone need that repeated?
Yeah, can you repeat it one more time, please?
Yes. Like I said, I'll be extending case, going over solvency, the journalism advantage, answering the AI NDCA, and then answering the inflation disadvantage. All right, all good? Starting first, extending our case and then 1AC, we had an inherency card that we read in the first affirmative speech, which stated that generative AI steals copyright protected works from copy in 24, and this went uncontested by the negative team, so that flows to the affirmative side. They have conceded and proved that we are inherent in this round, that there is a problem with the status quo that we need to solve. Moving on to solvency. This is in response to their Hansen and Brooke at 23 card. Point A, licensing is not too complex. It's been done thousands of times. Everyone looking at it in 24. It seems to make sense that creators of content should get some kind of compensation for the use of their material and training the AI platforms. Over the last 3 decades, local television broadcasters have literally done thousands of deals with cable and satellite systems across the country for distribution of their programming. The notion that it is too complicated to license from such a diverse array of content owners just doesn't stand up. We negotiate with some of the largest cable systems in the country. We negotiate with small mom-and-pop cable systems. We have a lot of experience here. There are licensing organizations that allow for collective licensing of songwriter rights, performing rights. All of this industry has been in the center of both licensor and licensee. It has been tremendously beneficial. Again, what this card is saying is highlighting how our plan is not going to be too complicated to enforce. It has been done before. We are going to be able to do it. It's not unfeasible like Nick claimed. This card further proves that we are able to solve this plan, and it's going to be beneficial for the affirmative team. Moving on to the journalism advantage. This first card is in response to the Panner and 23 card. Subpoint A, copyright protections are key. It's the only way to ensure that revenue goes to creators of content. From NMA and 23, the models of distribution and consumption of publisher content are rapidly changing. The systematic copying and use of publisher content to fuel GAI systems and decimate competing content poses an existential threat to publishers. By diverting readers and digital advertising dollars that follow them away from original sources, and by interfering with a potential source of licensing revenue, GAI models disincentivize investment and creation of those sources in the first place. They continue to unlicensed use of reporting the versus and public interest, and online world is dominated by GAI-generated substitutional content is poised to leave public with watered-down, less reliable outputs and fewer news outlets with the resources necessary to provide critical original reporting. Copyright law should not allow for democracy to be occurred in this manner. The world is indebted to press for triumphs which have been gained by reason and humanity over error and oppression. GAI is now further threatening the ability of journalists and publishers to perform that essential function of democracy, at a time when governments and experts around the world warn the risk of AI poses to democratic functioning. It is critical that the copyright laws continue to protect publisher content to help safeguard the indispensable role of flourishing and free press. Again, what this card is saying is that the only way for us to save journalism is through copyright protections. Moving on, in response to their Edge in 24 card, the brink is now. Generative AI exacerbates existing market imbalances in news media, from coffee in 2024. As dire as current dynamic is, the marketplace imbalance will only be increased to GAI. GAI developers crawl websites and reach behind paywalls to train their models. GAI output results in user inquiries, contain summaries, excerpts, and copies of articles written and fact-checked by human journalists. These outputs compete in the same market with the same audience, serving the same purpose as the original articles that feed the algorithm in the first place. Protecting creators and right holders from unauthorized use of their works for training GAI will help news publishers provide better products and services to consumers. Copyright-protected expressive works have been taken without authorization and without consent and used repeatedly in model training, processing, and display. This should not be considered fair use under current copyright law. Again, what this is saying is that the brink is right now, meaning that if we don't do something, journalism is at threat of going extinct and people are at the threat of losing their jobs. If we don't do something now, journalists aren't going to have jobs anymore, and journalism industry as a whole can collapse. Moving on, subpoint C, this is in response to the anomaly in 23 card. Licensing is the only way to save journalism from AI, from Ratch in 24. Requiring tech companies to license the use of news publishers' content through legislation would help ensure that smaller, local, niche, and non-English language news publishers would also be able to negotiate for the use of their content and data. Journalism can also be an important source of data for improving the quality of foundation models, which suffer from bias, misinformation, and spam that make access to diverse sources and quality factual information. As giant media conglomerates and major publications strike deals with tech giants, they need to demand a framework that will benefit journalism in the public interest. That is why the only way journalism will survive AI is to double down on its journalists. News outlets may consider how to optimize revenue streams and assert their privacy and autonomy. Through the AI value chain, they will need access information and the way their content is used in AI systems, including data sets and foundational model weights, and they will need government regulations that enable them to do so. So again, the negative is saying that licensing would take away from journalists and result in low pay. For one, this is false, as their evidence refers to how much a license holder will be able to demand for the use of their works, which is not going to affect their pay. They will still be paid, and along with this, the only way to save journalists and their jobs is through licensing. Without the plan, they will be getting no pay, and journalism will be dead as a whole. Moving on to the answer to the industry VA. This first card is in response to the Roe inauguration. Subpoint A. The plan increases AI value and sustainability. Quality of human-made content is key. AAP in 2023. A licensing requirement would have a positive economic impact on the development and adoption of Gen AI systems. Licensing fees are an important source of income for U.S. creators. The importance of sustaining the U.S. publishing industry cannot understand. Trustworthy Gen AI systems require high-quality publications to remain state-of-the-art, and flourishing publishing industry is best positioned to increase the value of Gen AI systems. Systems developed and trained derived from authorized sources are more likely to yield reliable outputs. It is essential to trustworthy and reliable AI developers utilize high-quality content. Given that AI technologies will be integrated into applications that will impact the lives and well-being of individuals, it is critically important that licensing requirements be implemented to ensure that high-quality, peer-reviewed, vetted material is used to create the training and corporate of AI systems to refresh that training corporate going forward. Again, what this card is saying is that the plan actually increases AI value and sustainability. Unlike what the negative team was saying, that if you decrease it, you're actually increasing this, and it's more beneficial to do the affirmative plan because AI is going to still thrive and succeed while also ensuring that journalists get paid and also ensuring that people are paid for their use of their works. Moving on, there is no impact. This is in response to their Anderson 23. AI can't solve social problems. A question at all point. With any new technological development, it's easy to wax poetic about ways it can solve societal ills. Such optimism ignores biases in AI. And using AI, we need to recognize that it is not a partial arbiter of justice. These conversations in right and wrong come from us and the data we choose to provide. We can't separate AI tools and adapt from society that shapes them. By applying AI to value line problem, we can make a mistake in assuming that social and ethical problems have technical solutions. I'll be cutting that card there for time. While AI cannot solve social issues, we can see a future where AI can still improve and thrive while also preventing the misuse of copyrighted material. So the app plan must be put in place to ensure that both of these are still feasible in the world of affirmative. Moving on to the answer to the inflation disadvantage. This first card is in response to Schmagazi and Cleary in 17. There is no link. The plan doesn't spill over to other fair use industries. Fair use determinations are case by case. Patel in 24. Fair use is written right into the Copyright Act. The legal system is not deterministic or predictable. Any court gets to run the test any way that they want, and one court's fair use determination isn't actually precedent for the next court. That means fair use is a very values-based situation. It's anyone's guess how a lot of copyright lawsuits are going to go. Many of them feel like a coin flip. When you add in the uncertainty that comes with AI, it gets even more complicated. Again, this card is saying that there isn't going to be any spillover because it's a case-by-case situation. Things are happening differently, and there's not going to be any inflation. Unlike the negative said that it would happen because there's spillover, but that spillover doesn't happen because it's a case-by-case situation. Moving on, in response to the syndrome and pop-up in 19, there is no impact. There is no correlation between economic decline and war, while in 20. On balance, I do not think even extraordinary economic conditions have much impact on the likelihood of war. If depressions were a powerful cause of war, there would be a lot more of the latter. The United States has suffered 40 or more recessions, yet it has fought to catch 20 interstate war, and most of them were unrelated to the state of the economy. Recessions are a powerful cause of war. If they were a powerful cause of war, they would have predicted 9 out of the last 5 or fewer. States do not start wars unless they believe they will run quick and cheap victory. I'm putting that card there for time. But basically what this is saying is that since the negative argued that the implementation of the affirmative plan and inflation will rise leading to war, this is not true. We showed that the affirmative plan is needed to remove uncertainty and to cause inflation. Second, we showed that even if the plan were to cause inflation, it would not lead to war. We've been through many economic recessions and that has not led to war most of the time. This is not going to happen with the affirmative plan. Along with this, we saw economic decline during COVID and there was no war. So furthermore, we've shown that the plan, no bad things will happen, and it's absolutely essential to implement the plan to solve our problems. With that, I open myself up for cross-examination and further points of clarification. Yes.
have your back.
Right. Michelle can start.
Okay, in your Hanroi and Liggett 24 card, it says that licensing is easy to do and it has been expanded and done before. When was the last time copyright has been changed as required in this?
Yeah, so basically what this code is saying is that licensing of content isn't too complicated. It has been done before with all types of content between many different systems such as small radio stations, satellites, and much more. So we'll be able to license copyright material because it's being done on other levels.
Okay. So are you claiming there's no difference between how much we need to do now with copyright and the last time we changed copyright law?
What we're saying now is that there's a change that is needed because things are unclear right now. It's needed more right now because things are.
But has there been a change in the system? It's like there's been no changes within the system that makes it harder for us to do copyright.
It makes it harder because people on systems on a daily level are being challenged, and of course things are on a.
Okay, so it does make it harder.
Things are harder in the status quo now. Yes.
Thank you. In your copy 24 card, your author mentions GIA multiple times. In your own words, what is that?
Yes, GAI is generative AI systems. This is just basically the AI that is using to steal journalists' work, stealing articles on the internet. Generative AI is just artificial intelligence that is taking information without.
Yeah, thank you. In your copy 24 card, how is democracy being imperiled as it states?
Yes, let me look at this really quick. Democracy, because generative AI exacerbates, it takes licensing material, takes copyright material without paying for it. It's threatening democracy as we are not going to be able to ensure that everyone has what is right to them and people are not paying for what they are. People aren't paying for what they're taking. It just threatens democracy as it's not a fair society.
Okay, thank you. Would you define the economic conditions before World War II as a recession?
I would say that, sure.
Okay, so in your opinion, the recession didn't have anything to do with like dictators like Hitler able to get into power before World War II?
I would say the recession in America had nothing to do with Hitler getting power during.
Okay. Your no-link card by Patel 24 says that the legal systems are not deterministic or predictable, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So if that's true, how can the app confirm that your plan will solve with an unpredictable court?
Like our plan mentioned, we will be ensuring that copyrights are more protected and clearly defined in courts. This will not only ensure that right holders will be compensated for their works, but it proves that we'll be strengthening the court system for all.
Okay. In your opinion, is journalism at risk from anything other than AI?
Journalism is at the largest threat from AI. That is the brink right now. AI is exacerbating and taking works without paying. It's the biggest threat to journalism.
In your McCutcheon 20 card, it says that there's no impact to our DA because AI cannot solve social issues, correct?
Yes, well, AI cannot solve social issues. AI can still grow without misusing copyright material. And that's our time.
Thank you
so much.